Welcome everyone to the 2020 Anecdo Journeys Showcase. My name is Nathan and I'm one of your hosts. Thank you for joining in from all over the country, and hello to those watching on YouTube Live. We have a fantastic showcase lined up this year, but first I would like to introduce your other host, Storm.
Hello everyone, I'm Storm Robbins and it's a pleasure to host alongside Nathan today for the Anecdo Journey Showcase. We are tuning in from all over the world today. Who would have thought that this is how we would be meeting today? The showcase is nothing like you've ever seen before. So before we get started, let us take you on a journey. Please sit back and enjoy the show.
Throughout our lives, we embark on many journeys that take us to different places, teach us new perspectives, and connect us to different kinds of people. New chapters are written every day in the journey of life.
Listening to each other's journey enables us to learn from the challenges and opportunities involved, and our journeys are never ending. In the challenges we encounter, there's always a potential for growth and improvement. Being present and aware in the moment and taking it all in contributes greatly to our continuing growth. We connect by sharing each other's story. The learning that comes by understanding another's journey increases empathy, which in turn connects the people in society. Diversity is strength. Life is a gift, something we should never take for granted.
Anecdo is on a journey and always will be. We aren't changing direction, but we are starting a new chapter. We are on this journey together. To kickstart the showcase, let's head over to Mildura. Not only has this team moved offices, they are now in an activity centre, truly working within the community.
Hi, welcome to Mildura Central and Anecdo's new service centre. I'm Tony Sullivan and I'm the practice manager here at Mildura Anecdo. Today I'm going to take you through our beautiful service centre, our community hub, show you some of the features and functions of the space, and potentially you'll get to meet some of the personalities. Come on a tour. Anecdo Mildura have been around for about 20 years. Previously, we were in a great big office building on the corner of 11th Street where no one got to see us. Here in an activity centre, in a service space, we get to be able to be a part of the community we want to support people in. Today, I'm going to show you around our beautiful functions and features of the space, and I can't wait to show you. Moving into this location, which is right in the centre of the community, enables us to be a part of the community and also enables us to be able to show the community what we at Anecdo can do. We are also next to one of the main entrances, which means that we have 1.4 million people walk past our doors on a yearly basis. One of the first features that you'll get to see when you come into our space is our charging station. Actually, I think I hear Pete coming now. Maybe he'll show us how it works.
Oh, they're very good when you want something done. You recharge the battery in a couple of minutes and get a coffee. It's easy, yeah.
See you soon, Peter. Hi, I'm Kirsten and I'm the Business and Community Development Manager here in Mildura. Today, I'd like to show you our community pantry. When we were designing this space, we reached out to Anecdo clients as well as the wider community to better understand what they wanted to see in this space. We had lots of great suggestions, but one that really excited me was our community pantry. We know that 1 in 5 people in the last 12 months have experienced food insecurity. Anecdo would like to play a small part in bridging that gap. Anybody in the community can access our Food for Friends program as well as donate. You can either pop in and see us or give us a call and we're happy to come and pick the donations up from you. Looks like we have Rupert joining us now. Hi Rupert! Rupert's one of our Food for Friends volunteers. He's popped in today to give me a hand to pack up some of the donations. How you going, Rupert?
Not bad, Kirsten.
Share with everybody what it is that you enjoy about the Food for Friends program.
I get house for a while, meet people, enjoy myself.
I reckon we get into boxing up some of these donations so you can start delivering them.
Yes, that'd be good.
Thanks so much for coming in and giving me a hand to pack up the donations.
It's okay, Kirsten.
Say hi to everyone.
Okay, bye.
Let's go see what Renee's doing. Hi Renee, what are you doing over here?
Oh, hi Kirsten. I'm just looking at the Google Hub. There are so many features to Google. There's options like reminding you to take your medication, things like setting up bus timetables, and lots of things that can be just done on your phone via voice command.
Actually, let me show you some of the features right now. Hey Google, turn on the light.
Wow, that's really cool.
Do you know what else it can do? Hey Google, let's party.
Hi, welcome to my world.
Nectar have been fabulous in allowing us to use part of their building here in the plaza. I think the public are very, very happy being here. Parking's no problem whatsoever. They can do their shopping prior to or after being with us. And generally, I think it's just the ease of everything here. And as I said, the public really appreciate being able to come in here as opposed to our former facility. Tony and her staff have been fabulous.
Good morning, Nectar. Rochelle speaking.
This support centre that we've opened here is really great because anyone can come in. We're accessible to everybody. It's more of a connection with the community. We can work directly with clients. It's really great.
It's good that it's on a ground floor so people don't have to access lifts or stairs. And we're right next to a disabled parking zone. One of the main things is that I used to think that cleaning was a menial job, and now I know that it's a meaningful job because I'm doing things for people that they can't do for themselves, and they appreciate it, and it makes me feel good about myself. So as much as I would tell you it's about them, it's a little bit about me.
If you're not on that side of town, it's sort of, it was isolated. So we're here, I feel it's a lot more, you can plan to come here and spend the day. You've got dental, you can get glasses, there's so many different other services around, you know, you can do your shopping. It's done all in the one spot, so you're not driving around all day.
People will know what Nectar is, they'll be able to see us when they come shopping, and I think that we'll be able to support more people out there in the community. People can come in here to get out of the weather at any time in the summer or the winter. We have a big space to be able to dance in if we want.
It's been a great addition. Obviously, it's good to have some fresh faces in here. It's a good usage for the space. It's great that we've got 11 new team members working here, and I believe there's about 35 other people come and go. So it's really good for the centre. It's been really positive.
It's really lovely, yeah. No doubt about it. It's good, isn't it? Plenty of room. Yeah. Well, Centro's good too here because you've got your Target, everywhere else, your Jewels and Butchers, whatever, groceries down the other end, Woolworths. Everything is in one complex. It's really great. Yeah, I like it. beautifully set up.
It's very fresh and welcoming. This is the first time we've actually been inside. I've looked in the window when I've been shopping, but I think it looks really good.
Because the taxi was able to pull up out the front, just there, right next to the ramp, and here I am. So it's easy access.
I think Anecto is fantastic, and I talk to other people about Anecto and tell them how good they are.
Thanks so much for coming on a tour of our service centre here at Mildura Central, Anecto Mildura. We're really looking forward to seeing you at some time in the future. So get out of here, we've got some work to do.
Wow, it feels like I've just walked through the service centre. Hopefully when regional Victoria opens Melbourne, I'll be heading right over there. This is the beauty of Zoom and video chat. It's like being there. Imagine living in a time where we weren't able to stay connected digitally. While some people, even with all the devices and technology available, don't have access to it. I also think having access to Zoom has opened up new pathways post-COVID to interact with people who we thought we'd never get to talk to.
Across the Anecto sites, staff worked together to develop bundles and packages to support clients to stay connected. But enough from us, why don't you hear it from them?
McLean, Dunkley in 2 minds. Well, that's an intelligent kick at the end.
Woo!
What do you say?
Kick a ball! Whoa!
Gets to it. Picked up by Stringer, gets through. Has a snap. Oh, what a beauty it is.
Takes it right.
Could we do a Zoom birthday party where we all wore party hats?
Birthday to you. Kangaroo-yake, 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 kangaroo-yake. Hip, hooray! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friend. Happy birthday to you. Happy, hooray! Happy, hooray! Hooray!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Glenn. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
You're going to bring your hands down, straighten the legs. Bring the right foot in, left foot out. And on your toes, we do the same thing what we did before. Hold the hands up. This time, right knee is definitely touching the mat. That's it. As you exhale, frame the foot. And now you're going to...
Someone not wearing a mask in Paris, it's really weird. It's really strange. What's going on?
I was going to say that Mum in lockdown, see Fabrice's hat, Mum's been knitting lots of beanies.
Thank you very much. It's really nice as well.
How many have you knitted, Mum?
Yeah, 12, I think.
Oh,
good on you.
So I think we've all the families got one, have we?
Daughter-in-law hasn't got one yet.
Okay.
I sent over a month ago.
Right. So there's one waiting.
I thought you must have lost all your hair, Fabrice, and you were just covering your hair.
I'm close to have lost all my hair. I'm not
curly,
my hair.
Zoom has been good, although we haven't done it very frequently. We tend to, if we're talking to one of the adult children, we tend to do a WhatsApp call, and of course we're so fortunate that we've got WhatsApp where you can talk for free to someone overseas, and that has been really vital in the COVID time. I can't imagine how people could have managed in the Spanish flu epidemic when they didn't have this technology. I mean, it's nowhere near as good as being there in person. But when you see someone on the screen, you get a reasonably good idea of how they're travelling. And from the point of view of us being parents, that's really important, particularly with our son in the US. Phone calls, texts, we keep in touch a lot with texts, and just recently Phil's been sending our eldest grandson in Newcastle jokes, and he's been responding. He's 7, but he's just into jokes. He's just started jokes. So we've found actually Dave from Anecto, I mentioned it to him, and he was obviously a great holder of jokes, and he gave us a number of jokes that we could use with the grandson, which has just been lovely. The other thing that we've done with the little boys is that we've been occasionally reading bedtime stories on WhatsApp, and for every birthday and birthday, Father's Day, Mother's Day. Yeah, Mother's Day. We did a Zoom with all the family, so we timed it so that the two in the US could be there too. One of the really lovely things, which never happened before COVID, is that often when our son and daughter-in-law are out, they try to go out in the US. They try to go out into the forest for a forest walk or a bike ride at the weekends, and often they'll just ring us out of the blue and show us some of the scenery that they're seeing, and it's just, that has been just lovely. We've sort of got a list of things. Well, when we go to the US, in about 100 years, we'll be able to go to these places.
Well, you've been asking everybody how they are. How are you going, Marianne?
Yeah, I'm going well, Wendy. It's I work from home anyway. So when I got the job with Anecto, my role was to work from home. I think the only thing that's changed for me is I can't get out and about to engage. And I think that's really hard for my role. So yeah, it's just changing what I do. So a lot more Zoom meetings. I think we've become very professional on those, haven't we, Fabrice? But yeah, it's tough, and it's tough all round. I think homeschooling's tough. I've got my youngest is at home, and he doesn't see anyone. He's home with me all day. So I think it's really tough on the kids as well. But we're lucky. We're on a farm, and we've got the 2 pet lambs that are driving me mad. If anyone wants a pet lamb. So there's lots to do. We're very good in the garden. The garden's going to be beautiful this year, which is good. So yeah, look, it's you kind of adapt, don't you, to what you know and what you've got. But very much looking forward to opening up so I can meet with my friends and have a drink, or go to the wine bar every Friday night and have a little drink. So I'm dying to get out and about again.
We've also been able, for which I will forever be grateful to Anecto, we've been able to travel overseas to see our son. And when we're there, we've been able to access hire equipment and even support workers occasionally. And that makes a huge difference, because it means that I'm not pushing a wheelchair all the time, because although Phil can walk, He can't walk long distances. And if you're trying to see something in a new or an unfamiliar place, you need to cover distance. So that has been fantastic. We've also visited very dear friends in the UK and done the same thing there. And of course, our wings have been clipped because of COVID. But I hope that we can do something like that again to get to see our son. And Phil's just reminding me, the main place we go, if we're not in Melbourne, is I drive up to Newcastle, where our eldest daughter is, and 2 little boys. And of course, we haven't been able to do that this year either. So that's been a challenge, you know. And the important thing about travel is, because Phil has always travelled, we really want to try to have travel to look forward to, as long as we can do it. And, you know, realistically, you can't do it forever, but at the moment we still can. And that's really an important thing. And so we've got to try to find a COVID safe way of travelling now, and hopefully, you know, be supported by a Necto again, as I said.
What about you, Mill, being
not
21,
really
how are you
changed.
going?
Yeah, I've still got heaps of uni work, and I'm still working, obviously, so not heaps has changed for me. I've got lots of assignments and stuff, and my partner, he's renovating a house, so that's been keeping us busy. I've been going around to help do that. I'm not much help though. He kind of wants me to stay away, but that's all right. But I've also taken up making cocktails.
Oh, nice.
That's a good hobby. I might start that.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
That's what I started on a Saturday night.
Party.
Yeah. That's
So I have enough trouble walking now without trying to.
Millie, what's your favourite cocktail?
I love espresso martinis. I love them. But I've made this one called the Clover Club, which I love. It's like a raspberry. It's a bit sweet, but it's with gin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yuck.
So yeah, COVID's kind of made me an alcoholic. Nah, I'm just kidding.
It's sure I like your bigger pizza pie. That's amore.
That's amore.
When the world seems to shine like you've had too much wine. That's amore. That's amore.
Bells will ring, ding-a-ling-a-ling, ding-a-ling-a-ling, and you'll sing Vita Bella. What are we singing? Lord, Pizza Bella.
Well, at one stage, I didn't drink a lot of coffee. Now, I hope I'm doing this right. One day, one time, I never drank a lot of coffee when you're on your own. But when the girls came and they took me to coffee, I'm afraid I'm a coffee addict now.
Can you remember what it was like to go through the drive-through for the very, very first time? Can you please explain how you felt?
Well, I couldn't sort of see the fellow that was taking the order in the first place, so I didn't know who you was talking to. But I think it's a good idea if you're in a hurry. If I wasn't in a hurry, I would still like to have my coffee in a place where I could sit down and have it. And not only that, I'll tell you this, when we went to coffee each time of the week, we often met people doing the same thing and we became a bit friendly with them. And I thought that was a great idea. As I said, I love the girls and my coffee very much.
Thank you, Melva.
I'm like your dad. Marianne. I miss Probus and I miss church and all those sort of things. We have mass on a Sunday, and we do that through Zoom, so that's good. You know, that sort of keeps you connected and helps you. I just so look forward to it every Sunday. You know, so that's good.
You've got to get into Zoom first, don't you, Wendy?
Yeah, well,
It takes you long to learn it.
Our parish priest, he sent the link, and you had to download the Zoom, and then he sends the link just like Marianne did, and then we just click on there. Our manager for East Wimmera, she sends link to everybody, and then we just click on the link, and every Sunday. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing, isn't it, Zoom? It's a good way of keeping everyone connected, isn't it?
Well, I think I think it is, because it's really good just to talk to everyone on a Sunday too, you know. And I've met people from Witcherproof and Birchip and everywhere that I never knew before, you know. So there's been that about it, and because we've been doing it for so long now, it's just, you know, everybody gets on, g'day, g'day, g'day. You know, we get on at 10 o'clock and masses at 10:30. So that gives us a chance to all have a talk and, catch up and, and sort of that's one way, I suppose, of looking after each other is keeping in contact like that, you know.
It's a strange time that we're all witnessing. I never would have been able to imagine that I would live through a global pandemic. Being able to stay connected and seeing the faces of family and friends is so important. I also learned from seeing someone online is a completely different experience than when you see someone offline. I cannot wait to catch up with people over a coffee or visiting a friend's house again.
We are now going to take a short break. Grab a snack, let your friends know you are watching the showcase on Instagram and Facebook. And if you don't want to step away, then check out the slideshow of our Anecto community. We'll start back at 12:05 p.m. Melbourne time.
Welcome back, everyone. You're probably wondering, what else have we got coming up? Well, we'll be hearing from the people in the Enecto community. There'll be a live Q&A with some of our staff. So if you want to submit a question, at the bottom of the screen, there's a Q&A button.
Now, Storm and I are proud to introduce this next segment because, well, speaking is what we do. We will be crossing over to the Speakers Bank team. This year has meant a lot of change for us. We haven't been able to go out and do what we do best.
That's right, Nathan. Spreading awareness, being advocates for people with all types of abilities, and sharing our views is important to us. In the meantime, we will continue to do Zoom crossovers to continue the Speakers Bank message, and that message is, see the person, not the disability.
And welcome to another episode of the Speakers Bank podcast. I'm your host, Nathan.
I'm Catherine.
And I'm Storm.
So in talking about, and I obviously I'm gonna ask this as part of the podcast. As your mum, gets older and things progress, have you thought about what you're gonna do ongoing? Because obviously you're getting older. Eventually you probably want to, get away from home. Maybe have a partner and a family.
It's tough.
Have you considered what you would do in terms of a carer role as your mum especially gets older?
Well, the thing is, I have to go through some sort of agency to see if there's like a carer that can pop in every day or something like that. Because, as you know, carers, they don't last forever. Your primary care doesn't last forever. And that's the frustration with the government. Because when I turned 18, I lost all my funding rights and everything because they just assumed that my dad and my mum would be there for a look after me. But they didn't put any payments or any payment structure or any support funding for my ongoing development. So now we're trying to get some now, but it would have been nice for them to check up on me when my dad passed away or some unfortunate circumstances, just to see how we're going.
Yeah, but at least now you'll have, under the NDIS, you'll be able to actually have that in the government. Will cover it all. And it's great because they're basically handing you a blank check and saying, what do you need?
But I think what I'll be putting down on my NDIS is I need to have primary carer helper down the track.
Yeah.
And I think that's what all people with special needs will have to be doing anyway. So, yeah. But the main thing is to go with an agency you trust. Because if you go with the wrong agency, they're probably going to provide you with the wrong care that you don't need.
Yeah, I'd say that too. I mean, because I personally don't necessarily, especially with my disability, because of the severity, I don't actually need a carer because a lot of what I have trouble with in terms of is more to do with house cleaning. So when, for example, I prefer to, if I had a carer or a cleaner, I'd prefer to say to someone, well, I have, for example, a house assistant or a maid or something like that. Because for me, realistically, that's what a carer would have to do.
So you would say on your NDIS form, look, I would need to have a personal cleaner as my carer.
Yeah, so I'd need a cross between a carer and a cleaner because the person also needs to be able to take the rubbish down for me once a week, needs to be able to fold all my clothes.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, I've got people, where I'm going that can do some of those things for me, but in the event that they can't be there, you also need someone as a backup.
With social workers, it's very, very important that they can help us change those attitudes that society has.
So there's, being you guys as social workers, can people like us come to you if we're struggling to find work?
Yes.
Do you help people in our shoes find that path?
Yes, but like we need some agencies to work with, and like it's not us, but with the help also with the agencies to get you hired or get employed. Like in my research said that people with disability wants to work, isn't it?
Yes,
you really
exactly,
want to be employed.
exactly.
You want to do something.
There's a lot of us
We
out
don't want to
there,
rely on the pension. And stuff like
Yes,
that.
that's right.
hopefully anyway. There's a lot of us out, everybody's individual, some with minimal needs like myself, whatever.
Yes.
Are capable of trying to get work. But we need to show that we can do this and kind of educate and show and give that chances.
Yeah, that's right. So we are aware of that. Like, so we are here as social workers to advocate for people with disability to get one, employment, the basic need. Yeah.
That's great.
What are the challenges in the field of social work for you,
Maybe there's a lot of challenges, but maybe with the help of the community and the society. Because like, even though we advocate for one thing, but if the society will not cooperate with us, it will be hard
Right.
to advocate for something.
So I was doing some research on our topic, and I was finding the most difficult thing for social workers is to find funding for the actual things you're doing. How difficult is that for you?
It's hard I'm starting, so I think I see this as like a difficult situation in the future, but I cannot say it's difficult for now. But I can see for the past research that given a funding for people needs help, it's really hard.
Yes, it is very.
But this will be a problem of the government that we need to like advocate for it, and we need to campaign for it.
Where do you live and what's your day-to-day?
Well, as it currently stands, in terms of day-to-day, it's basically organising a move to the Gold Coast.
Okay.
Because as we record this, I'm basically in the process of shifting. This time, in fact, in Tuesday in 2 weeks, we're actually on a plane flying to the Gold Coast.
And you're moving there from Melbourne for good?
You never say never, but the plan is for good. I certainly don't plan to come back to Melbourne. I do have some family down here, but ultimately the goal is, regardless, to stay in Queensland.
Mm-hmm. And so what is it that's drawn you up to the Gold Coast? Why are you making that big
There's
move?
actually multiple things. One of the things I began to realise in January, because I previously did some modules at a Bible college, and I began to realise at the end of last year that really just wasn't for me. I wanted to do some media stuff, and I actually entered into a relationship in December, and when I went up to in about January, I kind of thought, well, I need to start looking outside of the state for some media courses and some communications courses, because as comfortable as I am in Melbourne, there was just nothing.
So Nathan, I guess it's a big move to go from Melbourne up to Queensland. What's behind that?
So one thing is I've had personal circumstances that have, caused me to want to go up there with various people that have come into my life. Also the fact that there's not really a lot of opportunities.
You just, you know what's good for you and you just do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's very good. So how was this transformation change your life, you think?
Oh, it's made a big difference. Like, my body's ruined because it's like, you could imagine losing 75 kilograms. It's like carting your own body on, piggybacking yourself around, and your bones and your knees and your shoulders and all that take the, you've done damage to it. And then once you lose the weight, you feel better to walk around, but your body's already had the damage done to it. So like I do suffer a bit of arthritis in the knees and all that, and a bad back, but apart from that, it's transformed my life absolutely brilliantly. There's things I can do. Like when previous episode, I talked about my gold prospecting. I can go gold prospecting for 5 or 6 hours straight, where before it used to only be an hour. And then you'd be tired, then you would have to rest. But now I can just keep going and going and going.
How is it, working in this pandemic in the nursing home, working with elderly? Can you please share to us?
Working during this pandemic, it's quite different from the normal situation we used to work, and it's quite stressful for yourself as a practitioner. but in the meantime, it's also a difficult time for all aged care residents. Over the last few months, all aged care residents, they are not able to visit their families, their beloved ones, and it's really difficult and tough time for them. And the majority of, at least I can say, my residents, they experience some mental health conditions now, regardless of having prior mental health issue or not having it. They are suffering from low mood, depressed mood, depression, getting anxious, and this sort of mental health condition impacts their organic and physical conditions as well. And it's really tough time, and managing is quite difficult nowadays because you have limited access because of this pandemic. It's better not to involve external, people to the facility. So you have more load on your shoulders compared to the normal time. But from other side, when you help them, when you manage their situation, you feel really satisfied because when you see that you can bring a smile on their face, it gives you really good feeling, regardless of all hard workings, regardless of all stresses you have. At the end of the day, it's quite satisfied, I can say.
At the start of this year, Nick has been coming into David's house, and he spends a lot of his time in here, and he's learning to do some work that he's intending to do with the help of the teachers in here. So, Nick, so every day you come in, how are you traveling here?
In the mornings I'm with my mum.
With your mum?
And in the afternoon I'm out on by bus.
By bus?
Yeah.
Right, okay. And what do you do every day in here?
Mondays I do work skills.
Work skills, right?
So helping around the centre.
Yes.
Tuesdays I'm doing work experience.
Yeah.
Like going out about looking for volunteering at some places.
You volunteer at places outside of David's house?
Yes, yeah. Wednesdays I do cooking here.
Cooking? We should have come and do it on the Wednesdays when you do cooking. You can come and learn some of the cooking that you do.
Yeah.
We're gonna get out of here, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. And
Great chatting.
I've been your host, Nathan, and this is Storm and Catherine.
Bye.
Bye bye.
I can't help but be biased, but it's so amazing to see all that we have achieved through Speakers Bank, the conversations we have started and the messages we have spread, with so much still to come. Since that video was shot, I have actually moved to Queensland, started a new relationship, and we even got married in March this year, right before the COVID restrictions.
Now we get to cross over to a community that are a part of our nation's journey. From the very beginning, always and forever. Amongst the pandemic, the world watched as the Black Lives Matter movement took off. As the world was paying attention to America, we raised our voices for the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders. I will now hand it over to Paulette Whitten.
Yama. 2020 has been a year like no other in living memory due to COVID-19. It has had an impact on all of our lives and the way we do things now and in the future. It has also been a year where Anecdo has continued its journey to connect with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities, including those who are supported by or work with our organisation. In the initial stages of the COVID outbreak, there was a lot of confusion, and it was identified that there was little or no messages that informed Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples about the pandemic in a culturally appropriate way. So Anecdo's Sydney team created a video message that was fun, tongue-in-cheek, and informative. The response was better than we could have imagined. Service New South Wales heard about our COVID-19 messages for the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander community and asked us to work with them to create a message for their organisation. Also, elders who were supported by Anecdo's Kempsey office responded by creating their own 1.5 metre dance.
Yama, my peoples, us mob from Anecdo, we're
back!
Now we've got to take extra care of our elders and older people right now. They might think they're 21, but our people aged 50 and over are being encouraged to self-isolate now.
1.5 metres away, 1.5 metres away.
So get away, you mob.
We don't know how long Corona will last, but Anecdo will remain open and is open and continues to provide services. So let's work together through this time.
1.5 metres away, 1.5 metres away. So sometimes it might take you a little longer to be served, but that's because the safety of you and our staff is important to us.
Very long track to the other side. Stay deadly.
Stay beautiful.
And from all of us here at Anecdo, stay safe, my peoples.
For the first time, Anecdo held an online panel discussion to recognise International Day of the World's Indigenous Peoples in August. This year's theme was COVID-19 and Indigenous peoples' resilience. Panel speakers included Anecdo's Wiki Wolfgram, who spoke of the Maori people's experience, while Uncle Ray Minnicon spoke of the Aboriginal and South Sea Islander communities, and June Reimer spoke about the survival of Aboriginal communities as well as Aboriginal peoples with disability.
For our people, we've always lived in a state of pandemic. Nothing has really changed. So, you know, you take from the beginning, you know, we were invaded and we had to survive that. And then, you know, we had health crises when, you know, different ailments, you know, whether it was measles or smallpox or other things invaded our communities. We had to survive that on nothing and be resilient. And then, you know, we had the welfare system, we had the solar generations. So, you know, over the last 200 or so years, everything's been thrown at our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities, and we're still here, you know. So if anything, lessons need to be learned that First Nations people know how to deal with pandemics because, you know, when you talk about isolation, we've always been isolated. We're the ones sitting out on the reserves outside of town. You know, for many of our parents and grandparents, you know, they weren't invited into the party. They weren't invited into, you know, to be part of communities. When you talk about education, you know, our people are still being marginalised. You know, when you talk about disability, access, you know, is not there for everyone. And for many of our community, and you can read this up in the social justice report that Mick Gooder did a few years ago, for many people with disability, they still have to choose between being Aboriginal or getting their disability needs met. So, you know, and that comes back to the Human Rights Declaration, which, you know, as we heard, this Indigenous Day of Disability came from the United Nations. Australia is a signatory in the rights of Indigenous people. So, you know, more has to be done, you know, to recognise and acknowledge the values and the resilience and the formidable way that our people survive whatever is thrown at them.
I can also declare that all Indigenous peoples are not outsiders or foreigners in their own lands. They are the descendants of the first peoples of their country, the original inhabitants, and they are to be recognised as such. And I can declare also that none of the events of invasion, settlement, federation, or the advent of foreign citizenship laws have displaced the unique position of Indigenous peoples with their lands. And I can also declare that Indigenous peoples have a unique connection to their country, It is not just ancestry or place of birth or even both. Indigenous peoples have a connection with the land, waters, and skies under Indigenous laws and customs. And no imposed Citizenship Act has removed or modified that connection. Indigenous peoples, we all have the right to live out our lives in a peaceful existence with all our human families. Secondly, we have the right to access, live, and walk on the sacred lands of our ancestors so that we may touch the land of our mother that has been carefully cared for by all of our ancestors. I just take my hat off, I should say, I haven't got a hat on today, to the incredible leadership that our leaders right across the country, not just one, but all of our leaders in those communities came together. And our Doggett communities up in Queensland, our remote communities out there in the Northern Territories, and says, we're going to stop this before it hits us. Our doctors, our Aboriginal doctors and our Aboriginal leaders supported the community leadership that has emerged during this COVID situation here and shown extraordinary, courageous and powerful leadership against such an incredibly devastating pandemic that we're living in. Just wanted to say, you know, we're standing in the shadow of giants here. We're living in the shadow of incredibly wonderful Indigenous leadership to where we are today. That's resilience. To walk in their footsteps. I will never fill their shoes, but the resilience is still there. The strength of that is still here with us today.
My name is Ben Harry. I'm from the Torres Strait. I'm a descendant of King Kebsu, Tudulag, Ayamalag, Kulkagal Nation, and I am a community elder in Sydney. Each year, we celebrate 1st of July, which we call the coming of the light. Today, across the Torres Strait, we celebrate and remembrance of the day, the coming of the light. In 1871, the Reverend Samuel McFarlane, a member of the London Missionary Society, anchored at Erub, which is called Dunlea Highland in the Torres Strait. He was accompanied by South Sea Islanders, evangelists and teachers. In defiance of tribal law, Dabad, a warrior clan elder from Erub, welcomed the strangers.
We're all brothers, we're all sisters, they're all of our family. Whatever country they're in, whatever situation they're in. Let's just take a minute of silence and just remember their incredible strength and resilience at this time. Thank you.
It's amazing to see the work and new advances we are making within the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander community. Now, before we move on, we're going to take another short break. So have a stretch, get some more snacks. If not, we have a slideshow displaying photos of all the people in the Inecto community. So enjoy.
Welcome back, everyone. Get comfy and get ready. We're almost at the close. But before then, we have a fantastic Q&A panel coming up. I'm going to hand it over to Lucy Murphy, who will introduce you to the great staff that we'll be hearing from today.
Thank you, Storm. I'm both delighted and privileged to be hosting this conversation with 4 members of Anecdo staff who are working in communities and alongside the people who choose Anecdo to support them. As we know, Anecdo's purpose focuses on working with individuals and communities to realise inclusive societies. While this purpose is at the heart of what we do, the following speakers will tell us how they do it and highlight the work done in those communities. The 4 speakers will cover their work spanning 3 states where Anecdo is present and showcase the diverse communities that we are involved in. Please feel free to post any questions that you may have for our 4 panellists in the chat section of Zoom. We may not have much time, and if we cannot answer your questions, we will make sure that they are followed up after the showcase. But let me start by introducing our first speaker, Habiba Kabir, Coordinator of Community and Business Development, New South Wales and ACT, who described being passionate about what is behind the real story for both people and communities, which helps her in her role. So Habiba, can you tell us about how your role started in Sydney?
Thank you, Lucy. Well, it started in 2018. Back then, I was a case manager. I visited a client and he lived alone, isolated, and we are trying to connect him to the community group. So I noticed just opposite his house, a group of people, elders, come together and every week and having social connection and enjoy their life. Well, you can see he was just opposite the road and it was not connected, disconnect. So that is a gap. And after I finished my visit with him, I popped up to the group and asked a question. No one answering my question. It was another situation. So they took me to the coordinator. And then I found the people were listening to me, my question. They speak only Macedonian. They don't understand what I was talking about. That is another gap. That means language barrier. And they are not finding that information. They are not understanding because of the language barrier. Well, I talked with the coordinator. I introduced myself, what I do, home care package, and also aged care services. And she was asking a lot of questions about the aged care services. It's like very new to her and also the other participant, other community, group members. And I could see the, suspicious look at me, had no faith. And I could remember that one gentleman was saying, government will never help without their benefit. I understand that it might become from the different background, holding the different experience. Well, the coordinator requested me if I can come back again and give some more information to the group. So I said, well, of course, I will come. And then I came back and went back and also give more information about it. Believe me, from then that group, I received other groups' phone call as well and asking me to go and give a talk and discuss, pass this information to them. Well, and then, I was visiting them in a frequent basis, like weekly, monthly. So from then, we provided that information around 400 Macedonian elders, and we make my aged care referral for 105. So from 105, 92 elders received some sort of different aged care support, and 26 home care package with Anecto Sydney. So what we do, what the community linkers and myself as a coordinator of community and business development role do, so we listen their story and advocate for them and connect them to the right service, that support service. This support starts before the formal support starts. So of course there are gaps, and we identified the gap and we act on it, and trying to work as a bridge. So I would like to share a story from the beginning to now on. One gentleman, his name is Nikola Ivanescu, and he lost his wife in 2018. Wife was people person, that means more involved in the community and socialization, and wife was in charge of the cooking and managing the family. And after her death, he was lost, and because he can't cook, he had no connection with the community. He was totally isolated and depressed. So we listened his story, and we linking him to the right support service. Now he is receiving the home care package and support as he want, and is happy with us.
Great. That's a great story, Habiba. And I know that the work that you're doing is really connecting people and changing their lives. So now I would like to introduce Kim Crockford, who is a case manager on the Sunshine Coast, Queensland, covering geographical areas from Gympie to Caboolture and places in between. So have a look at the map if you are not familiar with those areas. Having worked in the aged care sector for some years, Kim is a strong advocate for elders being supported in their own home. So Kim, can you tell us a bit more about your work in communities in Queensland?
Thanks, Lucy. Just wanted to talk about Anecto in Queensland, where it all began, and the areas that we cover. It's quite a wide area from north of Gympie right down to just south of Caboolture, and inwards as well into very rural towns. Anecto commenced on the Sunshine Coast in 2016, late 2016, originally in Nambour, and then relocated to Caloundra and then Maroochydore. The reason being, we thought Maroochydore was a more accessible and central point of contact, considering the range of the area that we cover. So that's where we currently are now, in Maroochydore. There's approximately 100 clients over a few different programs: the home care package program, the Commonwealth Home Support Program, and the Disability Employment Program. They're run internally and externally. To give some perspective of the area that we cover, the Sunshine Coast has a population of 335,000 people. The larger rural towns that we also support, like Gympie, they've got a population of 21,500 people. Caboolture in the far south has got a population of 26,500 people. And to the west, small townships like Kandanga, 665 people, Cambaroon, 300 people, and Jarilla is, and I still don't know if I pronounced that correctly, I'm a local, about 100 people. So Anecto is currently supporting people from varying socio-economic areas, from different cultural backgrounds, and I guess different upbringings, because people are different if they've been raised in the city to if they've been raised in a little township of 100 people. And that's the areas that we are now covering. To do this, we have to have a great team. We have a great team behind us up in Queensland. There's myself as case manager in the office at the moment, and 8 support workers, and that's spread from Caboolture to Gympie. Externally, we have a great support with Kirsten Henderson and Tony Sullivan and the LMR team. and they give us a lot of external support. The DES, the Disability Employment Program, is supported externally as well by Manish Khaina from Footscray office.
Yep.
To be able to provide for these clients with only 8 support workers, we have to have a really good connection with outside providers, and we've had to establish those connections from when we first began. So we've established some really good outside provider connections with organisations like KinCare, who provide community transport and other support workers for us. BE, they were known as Comlink, which do a lot of transport for us. Adapt Healthcare, which do a lot of our allied health assessments and support for the clients, and they do a mobility and functional assessments. So they can actually be able to go out into the community and be safe and able to mobilise adequately.
Yeah.
Establishing these connections allows the clients to go out into the communities as they wish to achieve their goals and improve their quality of life. I'll just give you some examples of what we've been able to achieve up here. So transporting and accompanying a lady with mobility and speech deficits post-stroke. So it was very unexpected. And so she used to lead a very full life and her favourite thing was to go out to the movies. Post-stroke, we've been able to have a support worker to be able to still take her to the movies and go out and have a cuppa afterwards. And that's really important to her. Transporting and accompanying an elderly lady to a country women's association in a local town, very small town, where the women passionately debate who cooks the best scones in Leamington and who's going to submit wanting to the local agricultural show. It's quite competitive. Transporting and supporting an elderly gentleman with dementia to attend the local men's shed, not because he's good on the tools at all and he's not really interested in the tools, but he just wanted to see old mates, have a chin wag, and maybe even sink a beer or two. Supporting someone who doesn't drive and has mobility deficits to attend a swimming pool, which a round trip is about 60 kilometres, so she can increase her fitness and work towards her weight loss goal. Purchasing a laptop for a client that moved just when COVID started, relocated to Queensland, leaving 98% of his family in Victoria, planning that they would come up regularly and visit, but they've been able to so for the last 7 to 8 months. So he Zooms with his laptop.
Yeah.
And lastly, supporting a client driving 80 kilometres round trip so that she's able to visit her son, and the elderly lady has no other way to visit her son, and the son has no way to visit her. So the above examples are just a small snippet of how our wonderful support workers make a difference in our clients' lives and how they connect the clients to outside sources, their outside communities and their families. Personally, just summing up, I'm just really proud to be a part of that, and the process, hopefully, of Anecto in Queensland will keep growing and expanding, and we can keep supporting our clients and just make a difference. And I think that's, to me, what it's all about, is making a difference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kim. It sounds like you do a lot of miles and a lot of cups of tea and a lot of cakes.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. So we're next going to hear from Manish Khaina, who is an employment consultant working across 3 sites in 3 states. When we spoke over the last few weeks, Manish said that bringing people together and connecting them with others for a meaningful life is the driver of his work. So Manish, can you tell us about Job Connections and its role in the community? Where is Manish?
Hi, Lucy.
Hello.
Thanks for your introduction, and I'm pretty glad to be part of this panel. I started working with Job Connection, which is a disability employment services program of Anecto in 2018. And now I serve 3 sites, one in Ringwood, other in Belconnen, Canberra, and one in Maroochydore, Queensland. So Disability Employment Services or Job Connection, which is our brand name for the DEST program of Connector. Basically, we work with people who suffer from physical or mental disability and help them prepare for, find and keep a job. Now, this is basically a program which fits very well with Necto's overarching mission of connecting individual and communities to live, to realize an inclusive Australian society. And basically the role that I perform is to work with people, program participants, understand their needs, requirements, their job preferences, and provide them counseling, soft skill training, connecting them to the employers, training organizations, and skill providers to make them confident and prepare them for lasting employment. It is really wonderful to see how employment can make such a big difference in an individual's life. And, I recall an incident with one of our client or program participant, Linda. She never worked for 15 years. She was a happily married woman, had children. She had a bit of physical disability. After 15 years of marriage, she had to come out of the relationship. She slipped into depression, suffered anxiety disorders, literally came to the fringes of society. Centrelink referred Linda to us, and we worked with her. We helped her realize her own self. We provided soft skill trainings to her, prepared her resume, cover letters, looked for prospective employers with her. And today, she is a proud worker with an organization. And she has literally told me the other day that how finding a job has brought her back from, from outside of society, and now she feels so much connected. She has gotten back her friends, she has gotten back her professional colleagues. She likes to do shopping because she's making money. And I think she is now pretty much a central part of the Australian society, and she feels good about it. We've also worked with people, to realize their dream of starting their own venture. Out of Ringwood, we work with a client called Ricky, and he wanted to start. He was on disability support pension, but always wanted to do his own thing. We worked with him, and today, before the COVID strike, he started his own venture of distributing leaflets or flyers. So these are some stories which, makes us feel good, makes us feel pride that we are able to contribute to our organization's vision of connecting individuals and communities to realize society which allows people to live a respectable life. And I feel great to be part of it. The program basically works with people from 14 years to 64 years of age. We great. It gives us the flexibility to help people attain their lifestyle goals, their life goals, by making them employed.
Great. Thank you so much, Manish. I think it really highlights the importance of what work does for people, and I think we probably all realised that during the last 8 months in Melbourne about the connection that it provides, and just that how important that is for people for a whole heap of reasons. So thank you so much, and really appreciate the work that you do in communities. Last but not least, I would like to introduce Marie Povey, who works in the community of Ballarat in regional Victoria. Marie is passionate about the environment and helping others realise their potential. She feels very fortunate to have a role that combines both of these things. So please welcome Marie to share the story of Front Door Recycling.
Thank you, Lucy. I've been coordinating the Front Door Recycling Program for 3 years since it launched in 2017. We call it FTR, so FTR stands for Front Door Recycling. It's a pre-employment program for people with a disability who want to develop their work skills. The program operates from just getting a message that people can't hear me, so I'm going to try and fix that. Hopefully that's better. I'm hoping you can hear me. So the program operates like a workplace from a warehouse in Ballarat, and the team are collecting bags of recycled clothing from households in our local area, from about 5,000 households actually in our local area. And once they've collected the bags, the team sort them at our warehouse, and then they distribute them to some other local organisations. And we've partnered with 12 organisations who receive the goods, some op shops, some homeless shelters, animal welfare charities, and some organisations that support local families and children. The program is funded entirely from participants' NDIS plans. We don't receive any income from the activities, apart from a small amount that comes from on selling the clothing that doesn't meet the quality checks to an organisation that turns them into rags. One of the aims of the program is that nothing goes to landfill, and the people in the program are engaged in a really meaningful way with helping the environment, and they feel as though they're doing something really valued for their local community. Every time we ask the people in the program what do they enjoy about FTR, over and over again they tell us that it feels really great to be helping the environment. Since we launched the program, we've collected over 7,000 bags of clothing, which is equal to about 70,000 kilos, which has been saved from landfill, and the team feel really proud about that. We currently support 14 people, and because it's a skills learning program, people may move through the program once they've achieved their goals, and 2 people have gone on to find work in open employment, and another 2 people are working in supported employment. There have been some really great outcomes for the participants in the program, and I asked one of the people we support, Jemison, if I could share his story with you today, and Jem said that he would love me to. So we had a chat, and this story is a combination of Jem's thoughts and my observations, and I think Jem might be watching from the warehouse, so a shout out to you, Jem. Thank you for allowing me to share your story today. Jem's 31 years old and he lives in supported accommodation with 4 other people. He attends FDR 5 days a week, and he's been diagnosed with intellectual disability, autism and schizophrenia. When I first met him, it was really hard to engage with Jem. I'd say hi when he walked in the door and he'd just put his head down and walk straight past me. He spent a lot of time apart from the group. He was often outside. Sometimes he was pacing and yelling, and occasionally he threw stones at cars going past. He'd created a little area out of curtains outside, and he spent most of his time in there. It was all about the curtains for Jem. He'd become a little fixated. He was one of the first people to join the program, and right from the start, he seemed to respond really positively to the consistent routine. Jem, these days, I've seen a huge change in his confidence and his social skills. These days, he comes in the door, he greets everybody he sees. He comes and asks me about my weekend, and occasionally he'll knock on my door to let me know somebody needs a hand or something needs fixing. He loves to have a joke with the team and the staff, and he told me that he really enjoys sorting clothes in the warehouse, helping people and helping each other, and he really has developed some really fantastic teamwork skills. One of the strengths of the program and what makes it different is the sense of belonging that the people in the program have, the staff and the participants and the local community, especially those that are socially isolated themselves. One of those people, and I'll call him Keith, has become a really fantastic friend of the FDR program, and he comes out to say hello to them every time they're collecting from his street. And when Keith isn't there, the team notice. And after they hadn't seen him for a while, they checked him with a neighbour. And not long later, I received a really lovely email from Keith, who wanted to say thank you for keep looking out for him, and also to tell the team that he'd be back really soon. We received a huge amount of positive feedback from the community, who tell us that they really love what we do. They definitely enjoy the convenience of having their recycling collected from their front door, but they also tell us that they love that their donations make a difference to the environment and to the people that we support. So it's been a really great program to be involved in. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marie. So as we've heard from our 4 panellists, it's the significant work that Anecto is doing alongside people and in their communities, and to really reach our purpose. So what we've heard today is a snapshot of the work that is being done across the country. And I'd like to just thank Manish, Marie, Kim and Habiba for your time today, and to all those who submitted those questions. And if you want to learn more about the work that we've been doing, be sure to fill out the feedback survey and tick the box "I'd like to be contacted." Now I'd like to pass it over to Jennifer Burrows, our Anecto Board Director, to present the annual awards.
Hello. Apologies, I'm just setting my computer up. Thank you, Lucy. It's a pleasure to be part of this year's awards. The Anecto Inclusion Award honours individuals, businesses or groups who engage with people with a disability and/or older people to make choices, express their needs and assert their rights. They also demonstrate the ability to build positive relationships with the community and to promote dignity and respect. And the winner of this year's Inclusion Award is Marie Hovey. I'd like to invite Marie to turn on her camera to accept the award. Marie works tirelessly to ensure that the Ballarat base of Anecto runs smoothly, incorporating people with disabilities into the hub programs, public programs, and the front door recycling program, as we've just heard. Constantly pushing for the team to be proud of the work that they are doing and encouraging people we support to achieve their biggest goals. The Ballarat region has greatly benefited from having Marie at the helm of the organisation, and I'd like to invite her to say a few words.
Thanks, Jennifer. This really is a big surprise, so I'm a little bit taken aback, but I'm very grateful to be receiving this award today, and I'm very fortunate to be working in programs with some really passionate people and working with great teams. So I just want to give a little shout out to the Westvic leadership team and the team of staff at Ballarat, who really are very passionate about making community connections and helping people achieve, great outcomes, and that makes my work really enjoyable. So thank you to my teams, and thank you for the award.
I'd also like to acknowledge the following people, as they were also nominated for the Anecto Inclusion Award and should be commended for their outstanding work. Kirsten Henderson, Tony Sullivan, Kim Crockford, Naomi Owen, Mimi Lurilla, and the IDSS Integrated Disability Support Services. Well done to you all. Our final award for today is the Ron and Nellie Cahill Award. This award is given to individuals who are dedicated to improving the lives of people with a disability, focusing on ageing and dementia, specifically associated with the Anecto David House in Yarraville, Victoria. They have a desire to further develop their personal skills, knowledge and services in areas of specific needs for people with a disability. Sponsored by the Cahill family, this award is in memory of Ron and Nellie Cahill, long-standing committee members of David House prior to the formation of Anecto and founding members of Anecto. This year's award winner was involved in supporting the David House team to create videos for participants at David House that have not been able to attend due to the pandemic. We are now going to play one of the videos made for Glenn Cahill.
Talking to people and care of other people, and you learn that other people around you at David House.
I think David House stayed with me really good. We can learn fun stuff. And I've been here since I was 16. I've made a lot of new friends. And that's how I met Stacey.
And the winner of the Ron and Nellie Cahill Award is Jo LaRocca. I'd like to invite Jo to turn on her camera to accept the award. So let me tell you a little bit about Jo. Jo manages the Mature Hub and has a deep understanding of the clients in her care. She has a vast knowledge of clients and their individual intricacies. She's also dedicated and supportive to the clients and their loved ones. No matter how busy or demanding her day may be, she always finds time to respond to the families regarding any concerns they may have. She has a vast knowledge of the NDIS. In her thoughtful and caring manner, she goes above and beyond the parameters of her role. Jo, I'll invite you to say a few words. Oh, I've just been told that Jo has dropped out, been asked to accept her award on her behalf. I'm very sorry that Jo can't do this herself, but I would imagine that what Jo would probably want is to thank the people that she works with. I just hope that she enjoys the award when she finally gets to receive it. Well done, Jo. I'd also like to extend on behalf of the Cahill family a thank you to the other nominee, who's Jackie Ross, and to all at David House. The family asked particularly for a message to Jackie on just to recognise how close the two nominees were. What she said, what the family have asked to be said was, both nominees are such worthy recipients in our eyes. We have been fortunate to get to know both very well over the years, and it's difficult to separate the two when it comes to selection. Both nominees are so closely aligned. So I'd like to congratulate both of the nominees for the Family Cahill Award. That concludes the awards. I'll now invite back Board President Ross Joyce to finalise the acknowledgements. Thank you, Ross.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's once again fun time in doing this via the Zoom hookup, but we get there in the end. And congratulations to the award winners and to the nominees. I think it was fantastic just to hear the the differences between what people are doing and how they're participating, and also how that's accepted and taken on board as part of the supports and services that ANICTO provides out across a range of communities. It's been an incredible showcase, actually. I've been really reflecting on how many interesting things there are that ANICTO's actually involved in, and it does boggle the mind at times. So I particularly wanted to thank each speaker who presented today. It's not easy, as we've all discovered in doing it via the Zoom format, and it's probably, we still miss that human connection piece of being able to do that together. But I think it's been a fabulous AGM and showcase, and it really has demonstrated, just what ANICTO is capable of and is doing. So without much further ado, I'd like to now hand back to oh no, sorry, I've got a couple of thanks to do. I skipped out on that. I want to extend our thanks to Demarca and Gange Productions for their work on all the great videos that we've seen today, and especially to the staff that worked on each of the segments as well, our social media team and the events team for bringing this all together. It's been really great. I think it's just been a fabulous event and worked really well. It's also allowed a lot of people that may not have had the opportunity to necessarily come along to the in-person AGM, if we were able to do that, to actually participate as well and be part of this and share in the showcase element as well. Finally, thank you to Nathan and Storm. They've been brilliant hosts. They're full of so much energy. So it gives me great pleasure to hand back over to them now to close out the showcase. And I say goodbye to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for sticking around and joining us on this journey today. It has been a pleasure to co-host alongside Storm, and it's great to see all the work being done across the organisation. If you missed out on some of the showcase, you can catch it at the Anecto YouTube channel and see highlights on Facebook.
Thanks everyone for popping in today. I really appreciate you coming along, and I just want to say it was a wonderful experience, and just wanted to say thank you to everyone who came on today. Thank you very much to Mimi, Susan, the tech team, Joan, Nathan, my co-host, and everyone that's worked on this. And I really appreciate what everyone has done today. So thank you very much. Have a safe and wonderful Christmas, everybody, and see you again next year. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.